Good morning, good afternoon, depending on where you're from. Welcome back to the Musori Show. It has been quite a hiatus. If you are tuning in from YouTube, please be sure to hit the like and subscribe button. If you are tuning in from Spotify, please be sure to drop a 5-star rating. That's going to help us spread the message, and that's going to put a smile on our face. So today we got a special guest. This individual was the 1989 NBA All Rookie First Team. He was the Big East Player of the Year back in 1988. He is a New York Knicks legend. That's how he's known. He has played for the LA Clippers, for the New York Knicks, for the San Antonio Spurs. He has made an NBA Finals appearance back in 1994. And on top of that, as a kid, I was a Chicago Bulls diehard fan living in Illinois. He used to give me nightmares. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Charles Smith. Charles, really great to have you, man.
Thank you, Manu. Glad to be here. Thank you for having me on your show.
Absolutely an honor to have you. And it's really impressive that you got a really good year going on for you. Since 1973, after 53 years, the New York Knicks win the NBA championship. And a lot of people don't know that you got Cape Verde heritage. The whole world was really impressed with the performance of Cape Verde and the World Cup. So big ups to that, man.
Yeah. I was watching it with bated breath against Argentina. I thought they just might pull it off. It was incredible run for them. Incredible run. As a matter of fact, the search on the internet now for Cape Verde is 5,000 times it's ever been. So that's good. The tourism's going to go up this year.
No, it has. It has. I did see that it's going to go up. And who knows? That might be a next destination for your investment. That's something we got to think.
Already on it.
Absolutely. I was really impressed with the goalkeeper because I do follow the African Cup of Nations. The first time I noticed him was about 2 years ago. It was a game against South Africa. Incredible performance during the game. Extra time and penalties too. And I was really impressed to see how he really won the hearts of millions of people around the world. I mean, even Ray Allen's family was wearing Cape Verdean jerseys, and his following really blew up on Instagram.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a special talent to be a goalie in football.
Yeah.
You know, it's not eye-hand coordination.
Hmm.
It's eye, hand, feet, body, and the way you move. It's very special, very, very special. For that, they said that what's his name, Usain Bolt, right?
Yeah.
During his career, he ran what 3 minutes of races, 4 minutes of races.
Yeah.
The training to be able to do that, the same as a goalie. The ball's only coming at him maybe 4, 5, 6 times during the game, but the training to do that is incredible.
It's incredible, yeah. Because I did play goalkeeper as a kid, but where I played indoor soccer, so the field's a whole lot smaller. It's very high pace,
Yeah.
and I kind of changed my mind when I sprained my wrist when I was 11. So haven't really gotten that skill set back. And yeah, tell us a bit about the experience as an NBA veteran. I mean, I myself watched you guys play in 1994 against the Houston Rockets, and after 53 years, you made an appearance, and eventually you won it. And a lot of people don't really get the connection for veterans, because a non-player doesn't understand why a veteran kind of like owns that win as well. So tell me about the experience of going from making an appearance, having really great runs in playoffs to eventually, having the squad really make it all the way. And these are guys that, joined the club, looking up to guys like you, and here we are today.
Well, it's interesting because I didn't know I would feel anything with this team. I mean, you feel good for them, but I didn't know I would feel anything for myself. But the day of the parade, it kind of hit because a few things happened. One, people were sending me messages congratulating me as if I won a championship. I'm like, why are you congratulating me for? Yeah, I played on a team, but they won. I didn't win.
Yeah.
And it didn't register. And so the first thing that hit was I realized that I am the connection
Yeah.
to the championship to friends and family, that people that know me personally.
Yeah.
So that was like their way of saying congratulations. So when that connection hit, I was like, wow, I'm like their linchpin to this team and to the organization. But then the day of the parade, when I saw the guys on stage, it hit me. It's like these guys were a group of young men who ran up and down the same court that I ran up and down.
Yeah.
They were in the finals, and I was in the finals, and they won it, and we didn't. So you get to understand how hard it is to win the finals. And they
Hmm.
went against a superior team. They're just young. And all of a sudden, I felt like a part, just a small part of them. And then it actually put closure on my whole basketball career.
Mm.
That feeling that I had the day of the parade, sitting there and watching them celebrate on stage at City Hall, really put closure on my career. It didn't happen when they won it and it's on TV and they won it. I didn't feel it. I was just happy for them. But it
Yeah.
was just sitting there, and it was more intimate because you see them on stage and you see them talking to each other, celebrating and feeling good, and just because that moment only comes once in a lifetime if you're lucky.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, that's the emotion I got. It was good. It felt good.
No, once again, congrats. Really, really big year for you. So tell us about the game. So one day, I must also add that, for me, what I did pick up, obviously I won't feel what you feel, but you did introduce me to guys like Kat. I had the opportunity to meet some of the NBA legends like, Grandmama, and I did see a couple of others. And what I did pick up as an outsider is that these current players look up to you. You're like the icons. Like to me, as a basketball fan, you guys are arguably the best squad, ever in the New York Knicks. And some players might take it for granted, but the contribution that you guys made is really a stepping stone that did contribute to that. So really big up to that. So tell us about your view of today's game versus your time. How do you see the game today? Where do you see it going? And um, what would your recommendation be to the youngsters today? Because I mean, to a lot of NBA fans, a lot of people feel like you played in the most physical era. And while some do argue that the game is more skilled today, it's really not as physical as it was back in your day.
Well, I first of all, when I go to the games, I enjoy watching the games. I'm like a fan. I'm sitting in the suite, I'm eating and drinking beverages and talking to people and enjoying the game. Uh, I think the game, like anything else in life, nothing stays the same, and it evolves. And that's just what the game has done. It evolved. It's Yeah, we played in a more physical era, but you go a decade or so before us, and it was even more physical then.
Yeah.
So it just evolves over time. I love watching them play. They are skilled. I don't know if we want to say they're more skilled, but I think the game has changed where big players have become more skilled,
Yeah.
um, and dribbling the ball and running up and down the court. I mean, shooting jump shots and threes. Uh, all of that started in my era. For those historians, the first 6'10" player to bring the ball up and go coast to coast. And there probably were some prior to him, but I'm just saying this was one known, was Detlef Schrempf when he came from Germany,
Yeah.
right? So then you had the 6'10" guy shooting J's, dribbling to the basket, going coast to coast. And then my 1988 class changed everything
Mm.
because you had me, Danny Manning, and Derek McKee all at 6'10", dribble the ball, shoot the jump shot, and bring it up court. And we're is a physical style of play. So that was the change that was taking place then.
Mm.
And that's when the height requirements started going up for small forward, and players started doing that. But the game wasn't ready for Derek, myself, and Danny to do what we were capable of doing. So our skills were limited because if you're out in the West Coast, you could do it more, but not on the East Coast.
Yeah.
You know, you look at my career with the Clippers, I averaged 20 and 21. I come to New York, I'm averaging, 14, 15. Clippers, I'm the first option, second option maybe. New York, I'm the third, fourth option, and still was able to average 14. But, it's a different style of game. But, Giannis wasn't playing in our era. How he came in and started playing. And there's a lot of big guys that are doing a lot more. So it's just different. But I have no knock on the game whatsoever. I just enjoy watching it.
Okay, I actually didn't pick up that you're the third option. I thought maybe like first or second.
In New York?
Yeah.
No.
I mean, look at your numbers. I mean, 14 is quite good,
Yeah, and it was great. It wasn't good. It was great because I only averaged 7-8 shots a game.
Yeah.
People don't realize that. I didn't get a lot of shots. The only time I got shots was when Patrick was hurt, or somebody wasn't playing. Then I can play, and they had to give me the ball. I had to shoot. But no, it was Patrick, John, then me, and then sometimes it was Mace, Oak, then me. But so it was the third, fourth option.
Okay.
Yeah.
So one impressive thing about you compared to other players is that you had the opportunity to be coached by some of the legends, either coach that have close contact. So once during our informal conversations, you gave pretty interesting insight comparing Phil Jackson's leadership style to Pat Riley. Pat Riley was a villain to me. You were also under Greg Popovich. Tell us a bit about how it is to kind of be coached and led by these three individuals, like the leadership style. And I ask that because, there are lessons from sports and leadership in sports that can be translated to business as well. And I felt like that was really rich.
Yeah, I mean, I've learned something in business from each coach, from Larry Brown, from Don Nelson, Pat Riley, Greg Popovich, Mike Schuler. These are all winning coaches that I got coached by. And so I learned a lot at the time, and it was transferable into business. And I realized it later. Yes, I said that, Pat Riley was more of a dictator.
Yeah.
And it was more his way. And that can only work up until a certain point in business. Where Greg Popovich was more, I would say he had a participative management style where everybody's voice and opinion mattered, and he would take all the information and then make a decision. So, they were definitely two different coaches, two different leaders, and two different styles of leadership. So I took something from both of them. Sometimes you got to make that executive decision without everybody's opinion,
No, that's awesome because a lot of people when they talk about the greatest ever, they really look at Phil Jackson and Greg Popovich. Those are the names that come up a lot in the conversation, and maybe some other names that we're seeing today might be showing up, but who knows?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those two guys, because any great leader in business or sports, you have to look at, the people that they shepherd along the way, the players, and you have to see what they got out of them and what they did.
Yeah.
And, those two guys, Greg Popovich and Phil Jackson, got the most out of their players, and the players enjoyed it. They enjoyed the discipline. They enjoyed because they knew that there was a purpose. When you're a dictator and it's my way or the highway, and it's not as enjoyable, you're still going to win, but you're not going to have the greatest memories than you would in the other circumstance. So, and that's life. That's in jobs, and people have that happen in jobs that they're on. So, yeah, it's different.
I mean, that's kind of hard to imagine because look, I don't want. I know that your sentiment towards these players might be different from me, but to a lot of us, Michael Jordan's like the greatest of all time. And like you guys gave him a beating. I mean, you guys gave him a hard time. I mean, according to documentaries, when he got into the locker room, he would get so mad he would actually, kick tables. And according to even Pippen, shout out teammates say, "You guys want to play or what?" I mean, you guys got the guy who's considered to be, the greatest of all time that mad. So it's kind of hard to imagine that you guys played at such a high level. You played with a lot of heart, but it wasn't really enjoyable for you guys. So
No, no, the competition is always enjoyable,
competition, yeah.
But when you look at players, you got to dissect it in a way. Uh, um, when you look at Michael Jordan, right, and you compare him to other players, forget the talent. I'm talking about the mindset and the mentality. There's a tolerance level, right? The game. If you put if you put sports in life, and people go through things in life and they do in sports, you call it abuse.
Yeah.
The way coaches talk to you, the way teammates deal with you, all that. If you put that in life, it's an abusive situation every day, right? But there's a tolerance level to that because you take the abuse and you give the abuse back, right? There's a tolerance level to some players who can take it and dish it out and come back and forth. That's the game. That's the mindset.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan's tolerance level was a lot higher than everybody else's.
Mm.
His mindset was a lot higher than everybody else's. And that's what made him different. The talent came along with it, but it was his mindset that was a lot different.
Speaking of Michael Jordan, I'm going to try and not ask you that question that you don't like because, us fans debate a lot. Who's greatest of all time? LeBron James, Michael Jordan. Sometimes it gets so intense. In my case, I got people that don't want to talk to me anymore because I think Michael Jordan is the greatest of all time. But listen, I used to be a LeBron James diehard fan from his days in Akron and St. Vincent, St. Marion. Yeah, St. Vincent, St. Marion, right up to, I would say, 2023, 2024, and the LA Lakers. There were a couple of antics because, to me, Michael Jordan really set the bar high. And I think there's certain ways that you got to respect the game to be in the conversation. That's my criteria. It's not just about your contribution to the game directly, but it's also how you value the game. I don't want to get too much into that. So I'm not going to ask you who's better, who's the greatest of all time. I know you don't like that question. What's your take on what the media has made of this debate of who the greatest of all time is, and how do you see these two players? Because one, you played against them during a time where the media did sell him as the greatest of all time, and the other, you watched, get into the league, I believe, in your latter years or after you had retired, and he had a really amazing career. The I won't say greatest scorer, but like the lead all-time scorer, 4-time NBA champion, while Michael Jordan, 6-time NBA champion. How do you look at the two versus how, the media sells them to us?
Well, you got to look at the last thing you said, how the media sells them to us. That's what's key because, who was better, Joe Louis or Muhammad Ali?
Yeah.
That became a debate. Who is better, Muhammad Ali or Mike Tyson? That became a debate, playing in different eras. It's good conversation. It's marketing. It sells. Do you know how much eyeballs, money, advertising, everything is generated around this conversation? If you think about it, let me give you an example. When the NBA championships in the 80s, when you won a championship, it was about hanging that banner up in the rafters. That was the big deal when the season came around, hanging up the rafters, hanging the championship banner in the rafters. Over a period of time, some people sit back and say, hey, how can we make money? We got these companies making these rings, and there's fans that want rings and they like them. Let's start talking about rings. Let's put rings out there and market it. So first you saw it started with the ring. Everybody got to see the ring that was being made in the championship team. They put that out there.
Yeah.
Then as they put that out there, the rings became important. And then the rings became so important that the banner raise wasn't important anymore as the rings. Then it went to how many rings do you have? How many rings do you have? That means you're a winner. So it's all marketing to sell and make money. And we get caught up in it every single time. Look, no knock to Willis Reed, but we see this picture of Willis Reed coming and limping and getting back on the court and captain and all that. Dude only had 4 points in the game.
Wow.
Nobody knows that.
I never thought about that.
It's the PR and marketing that grabs it and takes it and puts it in for us to digest and take it around. That's what the media does. You know.
What about the intangibles, like the non-scoring contribution to the game? Is that the reason why they sell that to us that way?
What do you mean the non-scoring contribution?
I mean, sometimes you don't have high-scoring games, but you make good assists, like important rebounds. You play important defensive plays. Was it because of that?
Right.
In a way?
No, but who cares about that? That doesn't sell. That doesn't bring eyeballs to a podcast or anything else. Yeah. Somebody who contributed, unless there's a story around the player that sells, and that player does that, then they say, you know what? Let's talk about the intangibles. He's the intangible guy, and let's put that out there. And it's all about stories, man. It's all about Michael, LeBron. It's about stories. If you ask Michael, if you ask LeBron, players got caught up into it because they asked players to get caught up into it. When you're watching Kenny and Shaq and Ernie, and you're watching, and Charles Barkley, you're watching them, they're being fed what goes out into the media. Yeah. They're saying, even when you pick a playoff team, they say, Kenny, you pick this team, Charles, you pick this team, and come up with your points, and let's go to air. Yeah. Come on. It's all a show. It's about marketing. It's about being able to produce the best emotional engagement and contact to the fans that disperses out so that everybody can make money and everybody can win.
Guaranteed, in Charles Barkley's words.
Yeah, I mean that's what it is, and there's nothing wrong with it, but that's showbiz.
So let me put it this way, because there is a showbiz side of things. That's quite obvious. At the same time, these players are really accomplished. So you look. Michael Jordan's got 6 NBA titles. You had many successful playoff runs. That's very hard to do. That takes a lot of sacrifice and dedication. On top of the 82 games they play regular season, LeBron's got 4, Steph Curry's got 4. So to what extent would you say that it's really merit, and to what extent would you say that it's really about selling the story?
It's really about the rings are all about selling the story, because John Stockton didn't win a ring. Does it make him any less of a point guard with all he's done? Not at all. When you look at the numbers, he's right there with Magic. Magic got what, 3-4 rings or whatever the amount is. It takes away from the body of work that goes in. It's hard to get into the league, and then it's hard to sustain it and stay in. You can't tell me Charles Barkley, who didn't win a ring, is not as good as any other small forward or Scottie Pippen that won a ring. Just because Scottie won rings and Charles didn't, that Scottie's better than Charles? No, it's impossible. But we, as fans, because I'm a fan now, want to take the information and run with it and have conversations and talk in the bars and how many rings you got. Because it got like that, now the next generation down, that's all they think about. It's sad, because it's like, if you didn't win a ring, you weren't good enough. Yeah, that's how the generation below 2 decades from me, that's how they think now. The first thing they say, you get a ring? No, the first thing that should be said is, did you make the league and how long did you play? Yeah, that should be it. Now, a ring, don't get me wrong, winning the championship is awesome. Very few do it. Very few get to come back. The Chicago Bulls are the greatest of all time. The fact that these guys won championships is phenomenal. But don't take the body of work and how hard it is to get there, where kids are now thinking, If you didn't win a ring, you weren't that good.
Not that good, yeah. No, for sure. That's quite a gem. So tell us about the journey from having a really great NBA career. At some point, you even had like 20, 21 points per game. You were like a double guy in the LA Clippers. How was that transition from NBA career to your post NBA career? You got other passions, you got other visions. You're quite invested in Africa with your business ventures that do have a very strong angle in terms of giving back to community. How's that going?
Well, you asked me like four questions all at once. But the look, I was very fortunate to go through my career without blinders on.
Yeah.
We talked earlier about what I learned from coaches. I learned the management style and success that for teams. I played in a my laptop's about to die. I'm just gonna plug it in. I played in a major market, which is in LA, with a poor ran team management wise. I come to New York and I play in a major market with a superb run organization in the New York Knicks.
Yeah.
Then I go to San Antonio and play in a small market with a superb management group, San Antonio Spurs. I got a chance to see it all and to experience it all versus a player who plays with one team and never leaves and retires. He's got a myopic view of this is what the league is all about. Well, I didn't, so you translate all of that knowledge and information into business. And once you make the connection to business, it's like you got your MBA in a kind of a way, but you got to be able to transfer all those skills and experiences to business. But I was very fortunate, and it helped me so much in my transformation out of the game into what I'm doing today in Africa.
Yeah, that's awesome. So that's great. So my last question would be, I probably never told you, I at one point as a teenager kind of had NBA dreams, but in my case, kind of early reality, kind of kicked in, and I realized it wasn't my thing. And obviously, there are a lot of youngsters around the world who do aspire to get into the NBA. So to those who are, legitimate NBA prospects, who are looking at getting in the league, because a lot of youngsters do focus on life as an NBA player. I believe a lot of them don't really think about life after the NBA. What advice would you give to youngsters like that who are getting into the league, have aspirations to get in, and some who've just got in? What advice would you give them about life in the league and life post that?
Well, if I had a youngster now, there are three young men that during my travels I brought to the U.S. from Africa, and they lived with me for 3 years. And one's from Tanzania, Stuart Matufu. One's from Uganda, um, Gideon Ekokwai, and one's from Cape Verde, Wesley Rosa. Each one came and they lived with me. They went to school, and now they're in college, and they're doing well. But when I talk to them, it's not about making the league. It's about them knowing who they are as an individual, and never lose your family values and who you are as a person. Because there are players that come up through the game and the game becomes them. Their personality, their demeanor, everything revolves around the game. If a coach takes their time away or starts messing with them and they're not playing, they can't handle it because this is who they are. They were that kid that nobody paid attention to, and then all of a sudden the lights in basketball, and it became who they are. It's not what they did, it became who they are. And so I tell kids, tell me about your family. Who are you? and then get that instilled. And then by the time you make the game, you're not too concerned about afterwards, because while you're in the game, you're always thinking about family, life experiences, and what to do, because your horizons have already been broadened to think like that when it starts. So that's very important. And then when you're in your league, if it's not like that, you need to become that. Don't get caught up in it. I can remember I went to the Bronx Zoo when I was in New York with my family and my kids. We had 2 sons at the time, and it was a high school day. All the buses, all the high school kids around New York happened to be at the Bronx Zoo during this day. They're all running around, freshmen, sophomore, all running around. And the person, as soon as I got out, I started signing autographs. I had my wife and my 2 kids, and I'm signing autographs walking through the crowd. And the one of the ladies from the Bronx Zoo, she had a cart, and she says, "Would you like us to take you around the back and go through the cart?" Blah, blah, blah. And I said, "Yeah." And my wife was like, "Can we just let the kids, just let them go with the rest of the kids, just enjoy the day, just deal with it today?" And I was like, all right. And it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. I was signing all through the Bronx Zoo and, stopping sometimes. My kids had still enjoyed while they were watching the exhibits. I was signing and watching them with them. And it was a little different. I wouldn't say it was stressful, but it was different. And that you got to remain who you are while you're in it is so important.
No, that's awesome. Thank you so much for the gems. And, those are lessons that we take to other facets of life. Because, the NBA and professional sports is not the only place where people can get caught up and kind of lose themselves. It happens in the business world too.
Yep.
As people climb the ladder, they lose their identity. They become what they do instead of just being themselves. And sometimes really funny scandals happen as a result of that.
Mm-hmm.
And
Sure.
hopefully people eventually come back to yourself. So anyways, Charles, thank you so much for joining. Really great to hear, your insight story and hear your wisdom. Once again, congratulations to the New York Knicks and to Cape Verde, your heritage. Parabéns in Portuguese. My Portuguese is probably better than yours.
Tudo bem.
Tudo bem. Thanks so much, man. Take it easy.
All right, you got it. All right, take care, man.